Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Della Cruz. I had the pleasure of meeting today's guest at a special event in Monmouth County. When she spoke before the group Little Sisters in the Know, her story left me in awe. Carmen Rubin of Monmouth County has written a few books, Ashti Meets Birdman and The Gifted Guitar, plus an audio book called Meet Ashti. Right now she's penning a book inspired by her interview with jazz crooner Will Downing. It's entitled New York and the Boogeyman, NY and the Boogeyman. Carmen is also collaborating with children's musician and artist Mr. Ray on her book called Music's a Language. I like that name. Stay tuned for her new book, Social Eyes, using social media to help others see the brighter side of life. It's the first book of what she calls her Nugget series of inspirational books. Just recently, she appeared on the ABC afternoon program, The Chew. Today, we are featuring Carmen and her lovely family. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Della.
Okay, I got to get right to the first question. Okay. Tell me about being on The Chew.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was pretty much my first experience, having cameras in my house. So that was really exciting and chaotic. But getting an opportunity to meet Daphne, Oz, and going on, can I say that name?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Going on, meeting her, and then finally getting to the show and seeing how everything, turned out. It was really, really fun. And then my husband made it even better by slow dancing with me and surprising me with that. So it was a really, really good experience.
And that is the cutest picture of the two of you doing that.
Yes.
So everybody on the set was really nice. Daphne
everybody
so
was
sweet.
Nice. They were all crying. I mean, even the one of the executive producers came over there and he danced with us. It was awesome.
And I saw the clip, wonderful clip shot at your house.
Thank you.
Now, what inspired you to write your book, Ashti Meets Birdman Al, and how did you come up with the character of Ashti Freeborn? I love that name.
Yes. What inspired me, I've always written. Ever since I was a child, I've always written. I didn't know what my writings would become, but I can always say that I've always been inspired to write because it was the way that I could talk. I wasn't much of a talker then.
Really?
That definitely has changed.
Really, Mom? Just kidding.
That changed. But I didn't talk much, and so I wrote a lot. And I had these stories, kind of put away. And one day I came home, told my husband that I was ready to do something else. And he said, Carmen, maybe it's time to pull your stories out. Now, Ashti Freeborn, I mean, it's very simple. My two daughters, Ashleigh and Ashanti, I just put the two names together. I had been dreaming about, over the course of a year, I had been dreaming about this little girl. And it went from basically birth to delivery in a sequence, just like that in a dream. And I didn't realize it until I went back to my journals. But I knew that I was supposed to do something with a little girl. When I brought the stories out, it all just seemed to work. So Ashti, I got the name from my two daughters. Freeborn. Now, the woman who delivered me, I was 17 years old when I had my first baby. Very, very scary point in my life. Mm-hmm. So the woman who came into the birthing room where I was at, her name was Earth Mother Freeborn.
Oh, okay.
She was a hippie back in the 60s, and she was an amazing soul. I mean, I really believe that she was sent to my room on purpose.
Oh, I bet she was.
Yeah, she made a really huge impact on me, so much so that I gave my next first baby, Ashti, her last name. And it just symbolizes who she really is and her spirit. So, yeah. Freeborn. It's very simple, but it's very, very meaningful to me personally.
It's a heavy meaning, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
When I heard you speak before Little Sisters in the Know,
yes,
your story, your letters to God,
yes,
so moved me.
Yes.
Share that with everybody.
Sure. When I was a little girl, we had trying times. My parents were divorced, and we had to live in a lot of different places. So it was very challenging for me, and I knew that, just based on when I didn't have anybody to talk to, I could talk to paper. And in that, I started writing letters to God. And I told God what I wanted in my life. I told God, I told him everything about how I felt. I told him what I wanted to see happen. And those letters to God through the course of my life and all my disadvantages, my pitfalls, my valleys, my highs, my mountains, all of that, these letters to God just kind of opened up life for me, and I still am going back to these letters to God to see whether or not he answered those prayers. So far, he's doing an awesome job at that.
You had a vision board before it even existed with that term.
Oh, yes, absolutely. My letters to God, yes.
Love that. You collaborated with musician Al Jarreau, too. That's big. Tell us about that.
Well, he was a part of my letters to God. I mean, when I was 11 years old, I went to visit my father, and I saw Al Jarreau on television, and his music did something for me. His skill did something for me, but I don't know, I somehow connected to him. And I fell in love with his music and him.
He has great music.
Absolutely. And his music carried me through some very, very dark times. And so, you know, everybody else was into, you know, Michael Jackson, Prince, everybody, and I'm
guilty.
And I loved them. But it was like, I don't know, I'd be scatting down the hallways of my school. Like, I didn't get myself, and of course everybody else thought that I was a nut. But yeah, I loved him so much that I said, you know, one day I would love to meet him. And I took, you know, I would babysit just to buy his albums and all of that. And I never knew that that would come, but it came. And I really believe it was because of the letters to God. God, I want to meet him one day. I've had the opportunity to meet him at least 3 times. But he ended up contacting me last year and inviting me to his concert. He has written the foreword for my book. My character Birdman, Al, is inspired by Al Jarreau. So he has just been an integral part. We're getting ready to start working on some other things. I'm going to be using his voice, and I'm going to get that opportunity to sing. I think that's my last letter to God, just to hang out with him and sing a song with him or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be wonderful. I can't wait to hear that, Carmen.
Absolutely,
I can. So much to talk about, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right, well, right after the break, we'll chat with Carmen and her husband, Lee. Be right back.
Thanks.